The joy a newborn baby adds to a family can be rudely interrupted by colic. The severe and unrelenting intestinal disorder can start a few weeks after birth and last for months, driving parents right out of their minds. Pediatrician and author Dr. Robert Sears has a brand new approach to treating colic, and he joins us this morning. Good morning, Dr. Sears.
Good morning, Kristen. I appreciate you having me on.
Well, this is a hot topic, and anything we can do to help out with this is definitely going to be appreciated. 40% of infants can be affected by colic, is that right?
Yeah, as a pediatrician, it's one of the most common problems I see in the newborn babies. And you know, 40% is a big number. Most of those babies are fairly mild to moderate. I'd say severe colicky situations are probably 5 to 10% of babies. It's a really tough thing to see in the office when these babies are just crying nonstop. It's really tough on the parents too.
I bet it's rough. Now, how can parents identify the symptoms? And what exactly is it?
Yeah, I think it's essentially an intestinal problem. You know, these babies' tummies are hurting. They're in pain, and so the babies will be very unsettled all day long. They'll be very grumpy and squirmy. They'll draw their legs up in pain frequently. They'll pass a lot of gas. But the primary feature is just the nonstop crying, Kristen. And I think you know, babies are supposed to be happy creatures. Right. You know, they're supposed to eat and sleep and coo and smile. And if you don't have a happy baby and you have these hours and hours of crying bouts, then your baby has colic.
Right, and you know, and it's tough on the parents, but it's tough on the baby too. Is it dangerous for the baby to cry that much?
Well, you know, we don't know that it's dangerous. You know, fortunately, babies outgrow colic typically by 4 to 5 months of age. But you know, I think it's very clear that there's two typical things that'll be causing the colicky pain. Number one would be cow's milk proteins. If the baby's allergic to cow's milk proteins, then the baby will have colic. If the baby's on a cow's milk formula, or if a breastfeeding mom is eating a lot of cow's milk products, drinking a lot of milk, eating yogurt and cheese, those cow's milk proteins get into the breast milk and they can cause colicky symptoms. Now the brand new idea that I'm bringing out there for colic is that it might not just only be the cow's milk proteins, it might actually be the milk sugars, the lactose sugars that's in breast milk as well as formula, and that might be irritating baby. It's basically babies have a temporary lactose intolerance is what we're seeing in some of these colicky babies.
So, you know, colicky babies are so inconsolable. They cry and cry, and there seems like there's nothing you can do to calm them down. Is there anything that parents can do to calm their child?
Yes, yeah, exactly. And that's sort of the great news is there's so much we can do for colic. If I have a breastfeeding patient, I'll have that mom take all the cow's milk products out of her diet so that we take away all the proteins that might be irritating the baby. But for a breastfeeding mom, we can't take the milk sugar out of the breast milk because breast milk inherently is loaded with healthy milk sugars. But if the baby's lactose intolerant, the baby's going to be colicky. So what we do is we give babies lactase digestive enzyme drops, similar to what you do if an adult had lactose intolerance. So the baby takes the drops with every feeding, so you more completely digest the milk sugars, and you see the colicky symptoms improve. And it's called Colic. It's a great product. They've had it in Europe for over 15 years, and we're just now getting it available here in the United States. It's a fantastic product that I've seen help about half of the colicky babies in my office.
Now, let me ask you one question. You were talking about the lactose intolerance in babies. What about soy milk? Would that help at all, or no?
Yes, Kristen, you can have a baby go from a milk formula onto a soy formula, and that'll take away the lactose. However, that's not a very good option, Kristen, because soy formula is not nearly as nutritious as the regular cow's milk formulas. Babies really need to be raised on a mammal's milk, preferably breast milk. But if it's going to be formula, it really should be a cow's milk formula. So instead of going on soy, instead what we do is we add these Colic drops to the regular formula, so the baby can then digest the milk protein or the milk sugars, so that if it is the lactose intolerance, we'll see the baby do very well even on the regular formula.
Well, that is definitely good news that we're getting something over here in America to kind of help out with this situation, because it is not fun dealing with a fussy baby and for that long. Now, where can parents go for more information?
Well, we have relievecolic.com. That's our website. If you're on Twitter, we have @Colief, C-O-L-I-E-F. We have Facebook, of course, Facebook, Colic Infant Drops. And in fact, we have this fun thing. It's a hashtag along with Facebook. It's Tummy Tuesday.
Okay.
And every Tuesday, I get online on our Facebook page and I answer parents' questions about colic. So if you have a colicky baby and you need help figuring it out, go to Tummy Tuesday on our Colic Infant Drop Facebook page, and I'm there to help.
All right, thank you so much, Dr. Sears. Really good information there and some hope, too.
Thank you, Kristen. I appreciate it.
All right, Kiefer Sutherland is back on the small screen starring in Fox's new series, Touch. Nikki caught up with his co-star, Gugu and Mbatha-Raw. Take a look.
Kiefer Sutherland is back on the small screen in Fox's new hit series, Touch. He portrays Martin Baum, a widower and single father who is haunted by an inability to connect to his emotionally challenged 11-year-old son, Jake. But when Martin discovers that Jake can predict events even before they happen, everything changes. Martin connects with social worker Clea Hopkins, played by Gugu Mbatha-Raw, who may have the keys to help him unlock Jake's mind. And we're so pleased to say that Gugu is joining us this morning on New Mexico Style. Good morning, Gugu. Congratulations on the show.
Good morning. Thank you so much.
It's really exciting. So much buzz, as I told you. And, you know, I want to mention before we get into the show that you're classically trained at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts. You studied Shakespeare. What a wonderful resume you have, with a number of TV credits to your name as well. So tell us a little bit about this role on Touch and what it means to you.
Sure. Well, I play Clea Hopkins, as you mentioned, the social worker who is brought in to assess Jake's case. Initially, you know, she's pretty skeptical about these links that Martin, played by Kiefer's character, the connections that he's seeing with the numbers and, you know, Jake's ability to predict events before they happen. Until there's a moment in the pilot, which you'll see, where Jake is able to predict some numbers which have a very personal resonance to Clea's family and her mum. In fact, it's her mother's phone number, and from that moment on, you know, she's able to see that there is a little bit more to this boy than at first meets the eye.
Yeah, she's making the connections.
She's conflicted. I'm sorry?
She's making a lot of connections right from the top.
Yes, exactly. And I mean, she has, you know, divided loyalties because she's, you know, representing the state and has her job to do as the social worker, but at the same time she's being emotionally drawn in, you know, on a more spiritual level to the idea that Jake might have something special about him. The show also has a, you know, a hugely global scope to it, with, you know, scenes set in Dublin, Tokyo, Baghdad, and New York, even just in the pilot. So there's a real theme of, you know, global interconnectivity with the whole show, which I think is very inspiring.
That's great. And speaking of connections, it'll connect with so many different people from all walks of life, which we love.
Exactly.
You know, that's amazing.
And different cultures and languages, you know, and you know, in this internet age, and, you know, where everyone's traveling a lot and connected on their phones, you know, I think it really sort of chimes in with the times of, you know, how we're more connected than ever, it seems.
So exciting. And, you know, your first feature film was Larry Crowne. That starred, of course, Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts. And it sounds like, you know, I mean, that's a lot of actresses' dream job. What was that experience like? I have to ask you.
Yeah, it was absolutely terrific. I mean, you know, to work with such experienced actors as Tom Hanks and Julia Roberts, you know, and legends in their own right in Hollywood.
Sure.
So yeah, I learned a lot from working with them, and it was a really, really fun job. Much more light-hearted, but you know, really fun.
Well, and your next movie, Odd Thomas, was actually filmed in Santa Fe and Albuquerque, which is where we are.
That's right.
We love that.
I've been to Albuquerque and stayed in Santa Fe. We shot that in both locations last year, so I'm really excited. I absolutely adored New Mexico and the landscape. And
did you try the chili? You have to tell me. Did you have the chili? Did you try it?
Oh yeah! Oh my God! Yeah, I was like, you know, always trying, you know, the cuisine. It was fantastic.
Well, the movie is set to be released this year, and it's based on a Dean Koontz novel, for those who don't know. So it will no doubt be odd. So can you tell us a little bit about it and the role that you're playing?
Yeah, I mean, unlike Touch, you know, Odd Thomas is a totally different genre. It's more of a supernatural thriller, you know, which stars Anton Yelchin as the eponymous Odd Thomas, and I play Viola, who is his friend who works at the diner that he works at. So, yeah, it's a totally different genre to Touch, but yeah, it's a nice contrast.
Very exciting. And now working with Kiefer, I mean, we all know Kiefer, of course. 24 was such a huge hit, and we're so excited to see him back on Fox playing a role like this. Did he teach you a lot as far as, you know, the action of being in a show like this? I mean, I'm sure it's been a really great experience learning from him, right?
Of course, yeah. I mean, Kiefer's incredibly experienced, obviously, and such a pro, having had, you know, the huge success of 24. So yeah, I mean, he really does lead by example. He's very professional and very smart and very passionate and committed to making the best story that we can tell. So yeah, he's great to work with.
Well, and of course, you're a beautiful and talented actress, and we're so excited to see you on the show. Gugu, thank you so much for being with us, and I want to remind our viewers that Touch will premiere tonight at 7 on 2 Casa Fox. Thank you again, and good luck. We hope to see this series going on and on and on and on and on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. And we'll